So motivation for you or me might be, I want to bench 200. I want to be remembered. I want to win a lot of money, whatever. That's not always motivation for someone whose brain works differently to yours. So if you're working particularly with complex autism, their motivation might be, yeah, but you can, fucking dogs, you can play video games better if you're fitter. So they do their fitness training so they can, whatever their personal motivator is. Same as consequence. Consequence for you or me might be prison, right? We do something wrong, we go to prison. Some people that's not a consequence for, but not being able to get their cigarettes is. So that's once you know how what motivates someone and what consequences are for someone, you can tailor a behavioral plan for them really, really strongly.
That's good stuff. I really, I think finding those individual motivators, at least for me, and the kind of work that I do, like that ends up being, it's almost like the core work for me is going, all right, well, why would you turn up? What's important? And so we're always just finding out in every conversation what's the most important thing right now, and comparing it to what's the most important thing just generally in the person's life. And if we can keep the conversations in that space, most of the time I find we have a pretty joyful, easy run. And I want to say probably not easy, more simple than easy, because it's a bit of work. You have to process some stuff, but so we keep it down those paths. And yeah, I feel like that way powerlifting fits into a big overall picture. It's rather than, like you said before, that idea that powerlifting is everything and we try and fit everything into powerlifting. I think powerlifting fits into a person's life and should be additive. It should be, if it's not making you better, why are you doing it?
And that's so I think that the hard thing when you're talking about motivators too is, particularly when you're talking about aging athletes or whatever, is they'll ebb and flow because different I mean, this, you're not 21 anymore. What motivates you at 21 is different. And I also think it's really hard for some people, most people, not very good at self-actualization, as I'm sure you know. So a lot of the time, they don't know what their motivator is. And it's really hard to discover, because some people you can ask what motivates you, and they will give you a straight answer and they're right. And other times people will blank, have no idea. Same as when you ask someone what their goals are, and they're like, I say this all the time, and they're like, I just want to feel better. Like, that's great, but feelings lie and they change. So what can we measure? Give me a measurement on how we're going to assess.
Because my question every time to that is, okay, let's define that. What do you mean by feeling better? Like, give me something really precise so that
correct. Give me a measurement.
That we know that, but when we define something vaguely, I want to feel better. I go, cool. So does that mean you still want to feel like shit, but just a better form of shit than what you feel now? Or do you actually want to feel good? Like, what do you want to do with that?
Well, exactly. And I mean, feelings will lie, because some days I wake up and I don't feel good. That doesn't mean I'm in a bad place. I'm just having a bad day. So if you're measuring success based on how you feel, it's always going to change. So what is your definition of feeling better or feeling good I think that's what you've got to track down. And if you can get that, it goes a long way. And that's why, I mean, I love powerlifting from the idea that it is quantifiable. It is measurable.
Yep.
It is, I am now stronger than I was. Like, that is yes or no. It is black or white. It is effort over time equals outcome. Perfect. That doesn't necessarily mean, that doesn't reflect to feelings, because sometimes I will lift and I'll feel like shit when I'm lifting, but I'm stronger. So technically I've improved, but I still feel bad because feelings lie. So what is your definition of feeling better? And a lot of people don't know how to define that.